Hello there. Welcome back to grade 11 economics. In this video, we want to look at a common test of March 2022. Then we have got a question paper from the KwaZulu-Natal province. So basically, that's what we have. And we are going to look at section B. That is our question 3. We go to our question part whereby we have got our question 3, which is on macroeconomics. And our question is got 40 marks and it requires you to spend on average 30 minutes. So basically that's what we have. Then on the question part, first part of the question, which is 3.1.1, reads name 2 examples of primary sector activities. And this question is got 2 marks and requires you to name 2. So very important. So we know that the primary sector is the one which is responsible for production of raw materials, and it also involves the extraction of raw materials. So the examples that we can give, we have got mining, which is involved in the extraction of of minerals. So it becomes the primary sector example. And then we also have, we can go to the agricultural sector, whereby we can give an example of fishing, and also we can give an example of forestry. So those are some of the examples that we can give there, whereby we are saying mining, and we are also giving example of fishing, and also we can talk about also forestry. So we have got many examples, but we know that our question requires us to just name 2, so you can just choose 2 from the ones that we have there. So 3.1.2 reads, why is communication infrastructure increasingly becoming important for today's economy? So basically, we're going to give the reasons, or the strength of communication infrastructure. But we know that communication basically is an interaction that is there between 2 parties. So we have, when we have interaction that is taking place, we call it communication. So when it becomes communication infrastructure, it means we are trying to develop that communication process. So basically, we can try to define our the term communication infrastructure is something that revolves around technology, and it involves network connections that allow for the transmission of interactions over large distances. So basically, that's the description that we can give in terms of communication infrastructure. So why it is important? It is important because it facilitates a smooth movement of information, obviously, between parties, and faster movement of information between parties. So we go to other section trying to see what points do we have in terms of importance of communication infrastructure. So coming to our other section, we see that this is why we have communication infrastructure increasingly becoming important for today's economies. Growth of economic services that are offered online, that is e-commerce through cell phones. So we are going to see growth of economic services through communication infrastructure. So we are saying growth of economic services that are offered online through cell phones and computers, which requires advancement of communication infrastructure. So basically, the advancement that is taking place of the interactions becomes the infrastructure. So this is what we have in terms of 3.1.2. So we go to the next part of the question, which is now 3.2. We said study the chart below and answer the question that follow. So we are given a chart that we need to go through before we answer the question. This is the chart, although it's not very visible, but we are seeing that this section is finance 20%, and then we have personal services 17%. Then we have got trade here 14%. We have got manufacturing 13%. We also have government in this box, which is 8%, and then we've got transport 7%. Then obviously here we've got electricity, gas, and water 3%, agriculture 3%, construction 2%. So these are the components of the chart that we have there. Then I believe that the first question says name one example of personal service. So basically, a personal service, obviously, it involves individual efforts. That's a personal service. So an example that we can give in terms of a personal service, we can give example of medical services. medical service can be a personal service. So basically, we can just try to break them down here, whereby we are talking about medical services, and also we can talk about uh, financial services. Financial services is our personal services. Then we got the next question 3.2.2, which industry deals with the extraction of raw materials in the chart above. We know extraction of raw materials. We discussed that earlier in this video, whereby we are saying mining is the one that is involved in the extraction of raw material. So basically, we have mining is the correct response. We'll go to the next question. Describe the term tertiary sector. But tertiary sector, we know that tertiary sector is involved in the provision of services, in the economy. We are going to see that also if you look at the retail sector also falls under the tertiary sector. So basically, that's what we have. So let's try to see the description that we have according to our answer section in terms of the tertiary sector. So we go down there, you'll see that we have got a description here saying tertiary sector is the part of the economy that deals with the provision of services, which is actually correct. So this is the description that we have. Then we go to the next question, which says, what impact does the development of technology have on the finance industry? Development of technology. So obviously, this is the role of technology. In other words, we are saying we are having a better use of modern ideas, modern machinery in the finance industry. We know that the finance industry, mainly we are talking about the banking sector. It's mainly involved with online transactions. So basically, the impact, the development of technology, obviously, we have a very huge impact in the finance industry, whereby it's going to facilitate easier movement of transactions. So basically, we go to now to our other section, trying to see what explanation do we have in terms of reasons why we are having the development of economics having an impact on the finance industry. So we go to the other section, try to see. The explanation is it makes the finance industry grow since it provides many varied methods of banking, such as mobile banking through a cell phone or laptop online. So basically, this is the explanation that we have to make you get your 2 marks. So we go to the next question. 3.2.5, why is the manufacturing industry mostly important for the country to achieve economic growth? So remember, the manufacturing industry is the one that is in the center stage in terms of the total value of goods that are being produced in the economy. And remember, economic growth is measured by the increase in the value of goods that are being produced in the country from one period to the other. So if you have the total value or the aggregated value of goods and services being produced in the country increasing from one period to the other, we say there's economic growth. So manufacturing, obviously, that's why we're going to measure those goods that are being manufactured. So it is very important for the determination of economic growth. So we go to the other section, try to see what explanation do we have within that context. I will go to our 3.2.5 and try to see what we have. So we have the reasons are here. First one is saying it is the industry that can produce a wide variety of finished and intermediate goods, which should contribute to economic growth. So obviously, that's why we are having it very pivotal in terms of determination of economic growth. So this was the first point. The second point is saying it can help the country import less and export more products. And then the next one is saying by exporting more products, the country would earn income, which would be in foreign exchange. And then lastly, we've got the industry may lead to increased spending. So those are some of the reasons that we have laid down supporting the relevance of manufacturing industry in the determination of economic growth. So this is what we have on this question. So we go to the next question, which is now 3.3, and we are given an extract that we have there, which of construction in South Africa, which needs to help the economy recover from the crisis. In June 2020, the government announced a 10-year infrastructure investment plan worth 2.3 trillion rands, with investment planned in the housing, energy, agriculture, transport, water, and sanitation, and digital infrastructure sectors. Officials from the World Bank, African Development Bank, and Development Bank of South Africa have pledged support for the infrastructure drive, which is expected to create over 1.8 million jobs over the next 10 years. So this is the information that we are given. Then 3.3.1, name the company that is responsible for energy supply in South Africa. This is a um, clear question, which is very, very straightforward in terms of its requirement. So obviously, we know that the company that is responsible for energy supply in South Africa is Eskom. Eskom becomes the answer that we have there. So here we are saying it's Eskom. Of course, we have to present it in caps. So this is what we have. And then we have got 3.3.2 saying in which sector of the economy does the construction industry belong? The construction industry belong. So obviously, remember, the construction industry fall in the secondary sector. And we know that in the secondary sector, that's where we have got the conversion of raw materials or inputs into final products. So this is what we have in terms of the secondary sector. So in the construction industry, obviously, we are having and the conversion that is taking place again, for example, from the sense of building of houses, conversion of inputs into a final product and final product being the house. So basically, we are saying the appropriate sector that we have, or the correct sector that we have there is secondary sector. So here we are saying secondary sector. So 3.3.3, describe the term infrastructure. Describe the term infrastructure. So obviously, infrastructure it involves the basic physical structures. So the development of physical structures explains infrastructure, and you'll see that it facilitates the issue of buildings, roads, and even power needed for the operation of usually, so we are talking about society or enterprises, which are businesses. So this is the brief description that we can give in terms of infrastructure. But obviously, we have our explanation that we have according to this video. So we go to 3.3.3 on our other section, try to see what description do we have. So if you come here, you'll see that we have got a description that we have built. Infrastructure refers to basic facilities, services, and installations that are used for the functioning of the economy. So that is the description that we have in terms of infrastructure. So we go back again to try to see on the next question, which is saying explain the importance of having sufficient agricultural production. So remember, agricultural sector becomes the base of all the other sectors that we have in the economy. Remember, the manufacturing industry, that is the secondary sector, gets their raw materials from the agricultural sector. So basically, it determines the pace in terms of economic activity in the economy. So this is how this sector is important to the economy. So we try to see again, according to the explanation that we have in this video, 3.3.4, what do we have? And we say that the explanation is that it is important in order to ensure food security. Next, second point, the country would be in a position to reduce agricultural imports. So I remember, if we are having a very active agricultural sector in the economy, it means also the manufacturing sector will be also very active. And obviously, we are not going to see businesses or people importing goods and services. They will be produced local. So that becomes a way to substitute imports with locally produced goods. So basically, this is what we have on 3.3.4, and we see to the next part of the question. We see how can the lack of infrastructure affect the economy. So it's going to affect in many ways. We are going to see that even investors, they are attracted by better infrastructure that is in the economy. Remember, infrastructure goes on and describes the issue of even communication networks. It also goes to explain the issue of the transport infrastructure. How easy is it to transport the goods and services, to link businesses with consumers? So basically, if you've got a better infrastructure in the country, it's going to make the economy more viable, and it's going to attract investors. So this is how infrastructure can affect the economy. So if the infrastructure is not is in a bad shape, not in a good position, we are going to see our economy going down. Yes, we are not going to attract any foreign direct investments. Even our local production also will be negatively affected. So let's try to see, according to our other section, what explanation do we have. So these are the points that we have. First one is saying it makes doing business difficult and costly, and that hinders economic growth. So we are seeing a negative impact on economic growth from poor infrastructure. Then next, we've got the economy of the country may lose investment because investors may find the country that lacks infrastructure unattractive. This is the point that we are trying to explain. Then lastly, we've got the country may also find itself left behind in terms of development generally. So generally, we are going to see that overall the development also is going to be negatively affected. So basically, that's what we have on 3.3.5. And we go to the next question, which reads, discuss the importance of primary sector. So remember, we have described what is the primary sector. So what is the importance? The importance is that obviously we are saying this is the best of the economy. As we are saying, that's where our resources are coming from, that are being used in the secondary sector, that is in the manufacturing processes. So basically, that's how important it is going to be as it supplies at the secondary sector. So basically, let's go again to other sections try to see what explanations do we have on 3.4. The first one is saying primary sector provides raw materials for the production of all goods we consume, which is actually correct. Then we go to the next part, which is it is the sector where a wide range of crops and animals are produced to make food such as maize, vegetables should find employment in the primary sector. So the creation of employment also is very also important in the primary sector. It is the source of wealth for many countries that are rich in minerals such as oil. Source of wealth, then we go to the next one. It is the country foreign exchange where there are natural resources exported to foreign currencies, to foreign countries. So obviously, when we have excess in the primary sector, we are going to export, and then the country obviously we earn foreign currency, which is a positive in terms of securing our foreign currency reserves. Then we have got our next one. This sector is an important source of tax revenue for government. Remember, it is also taxed at the private sector, and that becomes a source of revenue. So this is what we have. So we go to the last part of our question, which is not really question. How does the transport industry contribute to the economy? I think this we have also explained in terms of the transport networks that we have in the country, how important it is in terms of attraction of investors, and also transport also in terms of trying to deliver be it raw materials from the primary to the secondary. So transport links different sectors in terms of maybe we've got raw materials that are going to be transported from primary to the secondary. It's going to facilitate that. So basically, those are some of the reasons that we are going to include on 3.5. So we go to another section and try to see what do we have. We go to first point saying the transport industry plays a key role for making markets accessible to buyers and sellers by distributing goods to retail shops. So basically, the issue of distribution, it becomes very pivotal. Then you go to the next one. It creates job opportunities that require semi-skilled workers. Also, the issue of job opportunities, employment can never be scrapped. So it is also important from the point of view of the creation of job opportunities, which will lead to reduction of unemployment as a macroeconomic problem. So we go to the next one. It makes it possible for the country to export and import goods and services. And then we go next point. Workers use transport to travel to work, and business people also use it to travel for meetings and conferences. We see how vital the transport system is in the economy. The last point, it's a source of tax revenue for government. It's also taxed, so it becomes a source of revenue for the government. This is what we have, guys, on this question 3 on the question paper of March 2022. So let's not forget, please, to subscribe and share. Let's not forget to share the link to our colleagues who are doing the 11 economics. We are going to upload more videos on more videos which are typical examination that will assist us in upcoming exams. So let's get notified. Let's turn on the notification button so that we get notified of new uploads. As for this video, I'm signing out. Let's meet again in the next video.